Replication is one of the principles of experimental design. There is sometimes confusion about how and where to replicate when doing experiments with farmers. In this brief video, I will explore this topic a little and make a recommendation. I often hear researchers describe the design of their experiment as farms my replicates. They're thinking of the traditional research experiment with its multiple replicates laid out side by side, and describing the fact that they have now put one replicate of each treatment on each farm. This is often a sensible design. However, it is unhelpful to think of farms or farmers as replicates. The concept of replication is that you are repeating the same comparison in what you hope are similar conditions, but farms and farmers are all different. The environmental difference between farms, even those close together, is often obvious. In addition, farmers vary in resources, constraints, objectives, and attitudes. This social and ecological variation is very likely to influence performance and preferences for the treatments being compared. So where is the replication we need to reach good conclusions from the trial? This is a simple example that I used in a previous video. I argued that in this case we need to replicate across farms that have the same level of soil organic carbon, SOC, and management quality, and suggested that if we have about 30 farms in the study, then about 8 of each type would be appropriate. Here, type is defined by the factors that we think will be important in determining results, and we replicate by having many types of many farms of each type. So the design does contain replication. We've repeated comparisons of treatments on different farms of the same type. What about replication within each farm? In traditional research designs, we often put all replicates next to each other in the same field. Why not do that in on-farm trials, illustrated here with 2 replicas per farm? There's nothing wrong with that design. You will indeed get a more precise estimate of treatment effects from those farms than if you had just one replicate on each farm. But there's a trade-off to make. Replicating within farms means that there will be fewer resources for including many farms in the study. Yet it is variation between farms that's going to be most important. Replicating within a farm means you know whether there is consistent treatment effects or consistent effects of treatments within that farm. But that's not interesting to any other farmers. Farmers or scientists outside the experiment need to know that there are consistent treatment effects across farms, as that gives you some confidence that the effect will also happen on further farms. That is, it gives you confidence that you have a repeatable result that can be exploited by further farmers. So it is replication of different farms of the same type that gives the information we generally need, rather than replication within farms. Finally, a word on reducing variability in on-farm trials by excluding farms or farmers that are perceived to be contributing to the variability, such as those that have a labour shortage or those with degraded soil. Yes, you can exclude them, but be aware of the limitations of your result. If you exclude those with degraded soil, then you will not be able to conclude something like integrating legumes increases maize yield, only that integrating legumes increases maize yield on farms with intact soil. You would not be able to say anything about what might happen on degraded soils. If you excluded those with labour shortages, then you could not conclude farmers prefer the new variety, but farmers who do not have a labour shortage prefer the new variety. Make such choices strategically, based on the aim of the project and the research route that you are taking, and be aware of and honest about the limitations to your findings. You can never do everything, and excluding some types of farms and farmers from the study will be necessary, but make sure those that are excluded are not important for your project objectives.